What drives people absolutely crazy about you is they feel you are too good to be true. Too good to be true. You constantly have people that want to decode you like you're some type of codex. You feel like you're not only beyond your years, but you're beyond a lot of people's years themselves. So it's almost as if they haven't ran into somebody who operates the way you do. Or if they have, it's been a very select, very few amount of people. You are somebody who knows more than you say, and people pick up on this heavily. You are literally like Pandora's box in a way. People would love to pick your mind and understand what goes on up there. And there's a level of you being emotionally disconnected from a lot of things. So it's almost as if people constantly want to get into your inner circle to see what it is about you that has you operating the way you do, or what have you been through. What truly is your story? You could be somebody that doesn't have an inner circle at all, even if you have an outer circle. So, an inner circle is somebody, people who have access to your emotional energy, to your origin story, to betrayals, traumas you survived, different things that you wouldn't just go blabbing to a stranger about. Think of it as like your soul's manual. Things about you, tapping in deep to that deep psychology of how your mind works, the way you think, your gifts, etc. And people who have an inner circle tend to not have one at all, or they have like one to three people who know them on this deep level. The energy I'm sensing for whoever I'm reading, you don't have one at all, or it's very, very small. You're not somebody who goes around trauma dumping or telling everybody everything you've been through. You just use those scenarios, and it shows in your resilience and your strength. This is why people want to pick your brain. And a lot of the people who want to get in your inner circle, that inner level, next level, elite information on you, they want to know your manual so that they can dismantle you. Think of it as like shutting something down. Now, when it comes to an outer circle, this is surface level conversations. This is keeping people at a distance, but still being open, friendly, being able to. This is people you'll conversate with, or you have no problem with hanging around, or even having casual conversation because they operate on the same energy, or they're bringing some type of positivity in their energy. You don't have to maintenance the connection, but you still are not giving them everything, or over giving or oversharing parts of yourself they don't deserve access to. Some people may even think you're AI. And some people may think you're AI because the level of efficiency in which your brain operates on is next level. In order for your brain to operate on a certain level of efficiency, that means that you actually utilize it. You're not just filling it with junk food, in terms of not even actual food, but in terms of what you digest, what you indulge in terms of learning, paying attention to. If you do not utilize your brain, then it becomes less efficient. So people who have less efficient brains, they tend to not be able to focus. They don't have creativity of their own. They're not good at problem solving, etc. Because they don't actually problem solve. They don't actually take time to learn, to think. That's how you build brain efficiency. So you were somebody who you could spend a lot of time in solitude, or you are very much to yourself. You like to dedicate time to actually expanding your mind. You could also be somebody who looks very young for your age. And a lot of the times people underestimate your level of knowledge, or they're always waiting for you to crack or to reveal different layers. But you understand that everybody doesn't deserve that level of access. You also are very clairsentient, so you're able to pick up and sense different spirits, different energies, even in the rooms that you're in. So you can sense when there is a certain presence around, whether that be physically, spiritually, or even what somebody's operating in. So you are very, very understanding on who to trust and when to withhold. This also scares people because they feel like you're very calculated, like they don't know how to pinpoint you. And remember, a lot of the times people fear things that they do not understand, but you're not meant to be understood. Whoever I'm talking to, You are the keeper of a very strong origin. Your soul's origin, this isn't your first rodeo. You've been here before. You could also be somebody in your family that's very connected to your ancestors more than anybody else in your family. This has also triggered some type of jealousy because it almost feels as if you're tapped into something that feels unfair, right? And some of you guys are also able to pull from lost languages, or you have channeled messages or energies and languages that you have never studied before. You carry certain codes in your DNA that literally are activated at this time, and more are waking up. You have a lot of people around you that are very dormant in their connection spiritually and their knowledge as to who they are, or they're just choosing to stay asleep. And again, you're somebody who you have a strong level of intelligence. So a lot of the times people could even think that you are like not real. You are either AI generated or you don't think for yourself, because in a world where people really do rely on other people, places, and things to think for themselves, it's very hard. For example, a lot of the times people think I'm born in like the 2000s or mid 2000s, somewhere around that time. I was born in the late 90s for my solar return for this lifetime. So I remember the times where people were not glued to phones and you actually had to go to the library, spend time in the bookstore, and actually sit by yourself and think. And even people who are around times like that or before then, a lot of times they get comfortable on what comes easy. So again, it's like a lot of things you don't have to think for yourself. It comes easy. Most people don't pick up books. They read Kindles or tablets or whatever the case may be. So in a world that chooses urgency, dopamine hits, you could be somebody that's really refined, or you just like the principle of things. So it can be very unorthodox to people who jump on every trend, or they don't have a balance, because there's nothing wrong with understanding the evolution of technology, but it's a problem when it comes into you not trusting your own inner compass and having no levels of creativity. Now, this is why a lot of the times people tend to project, or they discredit people who think for themselves, because they cannot comprehend the level of efficiency your brain works on. This is why they can't give you that credit, or they constantly find ways to try to diminish you. And a lot of the times it's projection, because they're just stating things that they do. Also, for somebody, your life force energy was being drained or attempted to be drained by some way. This could have been through family or people who pretended to be friends, or just energies who were constantly trying to harvest off you. But these will come from people who are very ungrounded. So you tend to have people who are very ungrounded. They don't know how to sit in solitude. They don't know how to put the phone down for more than 2 seconds. Like everything, every thought, every next step comes from something they've seen on the internet or something somebody else has said. They're constantly stuck in survival mode where you could be thriving. Whoever I'm speaking to, you're operating in an abundant frequency. It's kind of like the people who jump on the bandwagon, or people who don't think for themselves, and they say, well, a lot of people are into a lot of that new age crap and thinking that new age meant that it is like new, premature, when in reality a lot of the new age belief systems tend to stem from ancient wisdom, philosophies, etc. practices. And the term New Age actually stems from the hope of humanity transitioning into a new way of thinking. So literally waking up to realize ancient wisdom and utilizing that in today. It's also associated with the age of Aquarius. So it stems from a new era, not new practices or beliefs. Also, for somebody specific, there is somebody who feels very attached to you, but they try to act very detached. It's almost as if they have overwhelming emotions for you that they cannot understand why they feel so drawn to you. But they see you in a Queen of Wands energy, independent, also very attractive. Whoever I'm talking to, you have a very sexy energy without trying. TV shows and movies have no plot or character development nowadays. You are the most entertaining thing people have seen in years. You are the main character.